The final fray. Pheromones, instincts, and the invisible web of connection. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and curious minds. Today we explore a hidden language, one without words, without sound, and often without our conscious awareness. It's a language of instinct, of scent, of response, a biological Morse code pulsing just beneath the surface of our awareness. I'm speaking of pheromones, and more deeply, the instinctual chain reactions they trigger in the body, those quiet tremors, beads of sweat, hairs raised on end. What we often dismiss as fleeting quirks of the body are, in truth, the deep rumblings of ancient biological communication. 1. The hidden language of the body. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt uneasy? Your skin prickles, the back of your neck tightens, your breath changes? Or perhaps you've stood next to someone and, without a word, felt your stomach twist with attraction or discomfort. These are not random sensations. They are neurochemical responses, our bodies translating sensory cues into messages, biological alerts, guidance systems, and ancestral signals. At the core of this conversation is the autonomic nervous system, the part of our brain that doesn't ask for permission. It just acts. It's the same system that triggers goosebumps when you're afraid, or a shiver when someone walks over your grave, an ancient metaphor for feeling an invisible presence. It's also what initiates nervous sweat, a chemical cocktail that, oddly enough, has its own scent and can trigger alertness in others. What ties all these things together? The answer is instinct, a word too often reduced to base animal behavior, but in truth, a profound form of intelligence. 2. Lactation as reflex, the maternal pheromone pathway. Let's take one striking example, a mother lactating at the sound of her baby's cry, even if the child isn't physically present. This is known as the letdown reflex, governed by the hormone oxytocin, which is released in response to auditory and emotional cues. But the deeper truth is this: the baby's coo, scent, or cry acts as a form of pheromone stimulus. It activates the mother's body through instinctual recognition, bypassing rational thought and delivering a physical response. This same system is present in other mammals. For instance, rabbits release a pheromone in their mammary glands that calms their newborns instantly. Just one whiff is enough to stop them from crying and trigger feeding behavior. Piglets can stimulate milk let down in a sow just by rooting. A pheromone in their saliva triggers the oxytocin surge. In sheep, the mother can identify her lamb among dozens by scent alone, and will reject others, even if visually identical. We call these animal instincts, yet they are human instincts, too. We've just grown too noisy, too verbal, too distracted to feel them clearly. 3. The human pheromone debate. Does it exist? Science has long debated whether humans produce or respond to pheromones in the same way animals do. And yet, consider. Sweat contains chemical cues that can alter human behavior. Studies have shown women's menstrual cycles syncing when living together, believed to be influenced by pheromonal communication. Exposure to male sweat has been found to increase cortisol levels in women, suggesting arousal or stress modulation. Babies are calmed by their mother's scent, even when she's not present, and adults can distinguish fear or happiness in others based on the smell of their sweat alone. These aren't just smells. They're chemical messages. And when you feel shivers or sweat from another's presence, your body is translating an unconscious stimulus, an emotional pheromone, a nervous system whisper. 4. Why does this matter? Because in a world obsessed with logic and visibility, we have forgotten the sacred intelligence of the body. We've silenced our gut feelings, overridden our instincts, and dismissed the shiver, the chill, the subtle knowing, as coincidence. But every time your hair stands on end in a crowd, every time you feel someone watching you without turning around, every time you sweat in a moment of tension or sense joy across a room, you are participating in an ancient, sensory conversation. You are not just reacting. You are receiving. Conclusion: the invisible thread. Pheromones are not just chemical scents, they are emotional signals encoded in biology. They tie us to each other and to the natural world in a thread older than language. When a mother lactates from the sound of her child, or when a soldier sweats before battle, or a lover shivers from a silent glance, these are not accidents. These are messages of the body. So next time you feel a chill run down your spine, don't dismiss it. That's your instinct, older than civilization, wiser than speech, reaching out like a thread across the air. Feel it. Trust it. You're not imagining it, you're remembering it.